What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, everybody, let's chop into the Fantastic Four box office. Not looking good, not looking good whatsoever. As a matter of fact, the news that they're getting over there at Marvel Studios right now, Kevin Feige has to be handed a box of tissues at this point. All right, because bro got to be really, really upset with where this thing is at right now. Fantastic Four first steps, $40 million second frame. Yeah. And let's put that into some context so you guys can understand it as compared to other things. Fantastic Four sinks 66% from the box office opening weekend. So that's where things are at right now. 66% down from the previous weekend. Remember, it opened up to like $117 million. It's down 66% from that. You know, it says, despite strong reception, Marvel's latest film isn't holding as well as Superman. No, it's not. Okay, because let's show you what Superman did. Superman, James Gunn's Superman, in its second weekend, only fell 53%. So 53% from weekend one to weekend two. For a comic book movie, that's great. All right, that is really, really, really solid. That is a great drop. This one, not so much. This is more on the like high end of a bad drop. Okay. Usually a bad drop is somewhere between, you know, like 60 to 70%. This is trending towards that bad drop. Catastrophic drop is over 70%. That's like the Marvels and shit like that. You know, that dropped 70% weekend to weekend from its opening weekend. But yeah, it's not good. It's not looking good at all. So everybody was hitting me up like, DA, I think it's time, bro. I think it's time. Yep, I think you guys are right. It's absolutely time. Updating the flop. All right. We updating the board with a flop. So yeah, that's where we are right now with the Marvel 2025 scoreboard. All right. Trash, flop, epic fail, flop, trash, flop. Bruh, if this was your studio, you should be fired. I'm sorry. This is what you have churned out so far this year. Look, and I saw the first couple of episodes of Eyes of Wakanda. Didn't hold my interest. Didn't hold my interest at all. It took me a minute to get through those first two episodes. It's only like 30 minutes a piece. But let me say something, man. In that second episode, there's a whole lot of what the fuck going on. Oh, man, I might do a little review of this. But yeah, Eyes of Wakanda, I might just update that with that what the fuck stamp. Because this, I'm sorry, man, this ain't working either. All right? This isn't working. But look, here's where things are right now with the Fantastic Four. They're bracing for a big second weekend drop. And then the Naked Gun dropped. I saw the Naked Gun. It was pretty solid. But yeah, this is not good right now for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it's showing that, look, every movie that they come out with is probably going to be front-loaded. Yeah, Luis Fernando, you guys know we talk about some of his coverage of the box office. The Fantastic Four, extremely front-loaded at the U.S. box office. Fantastic Four grossed solid $11.7 million on the highest grossing second Friday for any Fantastic Four film. Look at that. It's the highest grossing second Friday for any Fantastic Four film. Like, how many different ways you want to drill this down? All right. This will try to make it sound good. It's crazy, man. But dropping a harsh 79.6% from last Friday's opening day. So from Friday to Friday, it pretty much dropped 80%. That means that everybody that wanted to see it saw it the first weekend. And yeah, the word of mouth is not working. The word of mouth is not putting butts in seats. What happened? What happened with the Fantastic Four, which is getting good critic reviews? I even think it's a better movie than Superman. Overall, it's a better movie than Superman. Slightly better. But Nerdrotic calls it out. Pedro Pascal fatigue and a female Silver Surfer ruined any chances this movie had, you know, and he covers that 66%. Yeah, Pedro Pascal fatigue is an absolute thing. It is an absolute thing. People are tired of this dude. People are sick and tired of all of the weird. The dude's a weirdo, man. He's just weird. He does weird shit, okay? You guys will never forget this crap right here, okay? The weirdest one of them all. This stuff right here is like where the Pedro Pascal fatigue comes from. It's like, yo, this dude ain't Reed Richards. I'm sorry. This ain't my Reed Richards, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Him doing all of that. I hate watching this stuff. All right, but not only this, man. Remember, we saw this crap, right? With the whole daddy questions thing, all right? Remember this?
So many different texts, a found father figure. But do you think it's safe to say that Reed is the first capital D daddy in the MCU?
Are there not other fathers in the MCU?
Oh, I mean daddy.
Oh,
Yeah,
daddy.
different to father.
Daddy?
Capital
no.
D.
I would, okay, no. The first capital D daddy in the MCU? No. I would say he's
This is the weird shit that comes when you have Pedro Pascal in your project and when you have him in your movie, okay? And then this guy is supposed to be playing like Chad Reed Richards, the smartest man in the universe. He just didn't pull it off. Some of y'all said, nah, he didn't do that bad, DA. Nah, to me, man, he just didn't pull off Reed Richards at all, you know? So there was that. There was the female Silver Surfer, the Silver Surfette, which also didn't work. You know, there was really no reason to have a Silver Surfette in the movie. There was no like logical reason other than to give Johnny Storm a love interest or to have something going on between the two of them. It would have been super weird if Johnny Storm was doing all of the stuff with Silver Surfette. If he was doing that with Nor and Rad, it would have came off as gay. And they said, nah, we can't have that. So let's go ahead and make it a Silver Surfette. But there was no reason for Shala Ball to be in the movie. She didn't really do anything for the movie. So yeah, there's that. The MCU destroyed, in my opinion, destroyed the fourth phase. The fourth and fifth phases were destroyed by the MCU, trying to push all of these characters in here that we didn't care about. Silver Surfette was another one of them, okay? But overall, in my opinion, this is how I responded to the situation. I think it's just Marvel fatigue overall, and the fact that they just couldn't get a good storyline going. The Infinity Saga had great heroes and villains, and a coherent story even normies could follow. See, that was the thing. Like, even if you didn't really keep up with the MCU all the way around, hey, you knew there was a villain, all right? We knew Thanos was in the mix. That was from the first phase. At the end of phase one, okay, we know Thanos is a thing, all right? We had really good characters, okay? Great heroes. You know, we had that. And you had a story you could follow, okay? A story that even normies could follow. They introduced the Infinity Stones immediately in Guardians of the Galaxy. They introduced the Infinity Stones. Okay, so the Infinity Stones are a thing. That's what Thanos is after. Seems like we have a long play going up here. Where is this all headed to? Let's follow. You know, and even if you dropped out and you forgot something, it's easy to explain. I could come and tell you, okay, here's what's going on with the Infinity Stones. All right. We got the Power Stone, we got the Time Stone, we got this. You know, you can explain all of that to a normal person and they would be like, okay, got it. Now I can step in and watch Infinity War and I'm caught up. I know what's happening. Plus, I don't have to do all kinds of homework. There was only like a few movies you absolutely had to watch to understand where things was. The multiverse era is a jumbled mess that lost audience interest after Multiverse of Madness. Stuff with too many characters no one cares about. Everybody's done. See, I think overall, the Marvel fatigue is what wore out movies like Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four couldn't get off the ground because people are tired of Marvel. People are tired of this multiverse era. Like, what's going on? I don't even know what's happening right now. You know, like all of the movies are bad. I got to do all of this homework. It's like you got the Time Variance Authority. It's like, okay, how does this fit in? So I got to go and watch Loki. And if I got to watch Loki, then, all right, how does that fit in with all of these various Earths? You got Earth 616, Earth 828. You got all of these different Earths. And again, normies can't follow it. And again, I'm following it, but I still think the storytelling is bad. And I think a third reason, and maybe the most important reason out of all, as to why the Fantastic Four is flopping, Fantastic Four won grown-ups, but lost kids and families to Superman. Yeah, 100%, man. Kids and families are loving Superman. Why? Because Superman is, in a sense, a kid's movie. Yeah, there's some racy stuff going on in a kid's movie, like Supergirl showing up at the end, calling him a bitch and everything like that. A lot of the violence maybe people have a problem with. Lex Luthor's, you know, murder scene and everything might have some folks uncomfortable. But for the most part, Superman is a Saturday morning cartoon. It is straight up a Saturday morning cartoon. I wish it was a better episode of that Saturday morning cartoon. But nevertheless, it's for kids and families. Kids and families can rock with it. I guarantee you more kids said, hey, Mom, can we go and watch Superman again? Than have ever said, hey, Mom, can we go watch Fantastic Four again? I guarantee it, man. Because this is not as much as this is probably even a little bit more family friendly and family oriented when it comes to the content, it's for grown-ups. It has like a more grown-up adult sensibility to it. Superman is just fun. There's a lot of fun in Superman. You got Crypto, all right, flying around, biting people and all that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff people understand, man, that's a lot of fun. Kids are going to go and watch Superman again and again and again. They'll watch Fantastic Four once, and they'll say, oh, yeah, that was cool. But they'll go back for the fight scene with Mr. Terrific, all right? That whole Mr. Terrific fight scene, they're going to come back and watch that. All right, they're going to go and watch Crypto tearing up mess, having fun with Superman, bouncing all over him, beating him up. Everything that Crypto was doing, the little stuff going on in that pocket universe, that was fascinating. They're going to go and watch that. They're going to go and watch the end fight scene where Superman is, using his heat vision and taking out all them tats. That's what the kids are going to get into, along with the humor. There's a ton of little humor in there, and that works for kids and family. Fantastic Four was a little bit more serious, and as an adult, I respect that more. But kids and families, who's coming to watch your comic book movies? What built the MCU in the beginning was kids and families. You got to lean into kids and families, Marvel. All right, you got to get back to this stuff. All right, less of this crap. All right, less of this dude. All right, because look, this dude's coming up next in Doomsday. This is your lead for Doomsday. How do you think kids and families are feeling about this shit? This is your lead. So, again, I think that it's a combination of a few things. I think it's the kids and the families. All right, I absolutely agree that Silver Surfette and Pedro Pascal and all of the stuff that they stuffed into this movie just absolutely didn't work. But again, I think from a storytelling standpoint, the multiverse got a lot of people checked out of Marvel off rip, all right? They're not checking for anything Marvel's doing. Doesn't matter if it's family-friendly, kid-friendly, with the exception of Deadpool and Wolverine, which was a rated R movie, all right? So that's strictly for adults, all right? Kids and families are not rocking it out to go see Deadpool and Wolverine. That made a billy. Again, but that was also playing into nostalgia, member berries with all the various characters that they brought in. And upon second watch, it's really not that good of a movie, So yeah, Marvel, y'all got y'all work cut out for you. I don't know what's coming up next. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a what the fuck or trash. All right. And then after this, we get Marvel Zombies and Wonder Man to finish up the year. We're still hearing news on Doomsday. We got some news on Brand New Day that we're going to talk about later on. But what do y'all think, man? What do y'all think about the flop that is now Fantastic Four? We all kind of saw it coming. Yeah, it's, Marvel fatigue. In my opinion, that's what it is, along with the fact that they just couldn't attract kids and families with a more heady, adult, layered story than just something like Superman, which just has fun, And we'll see. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about it. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.